Good morning. Thank you for being here today. My name is Amanda, and we are going to be going over a restorative yoga sequence using the yoga triangle. Triangle-shaped yoga block with unique angles, a landmark for ease of direction and cueing, bevels for foam rolling, myofascial release, and trigger point access, and a pair to create different shapes, some that you might be familiar with, to create greater access and support and inclusivity in whatever movement practice you have. This just so happens to be designed around a restorative yoga sequence that I wrote. Lots of people from lots of different movement modalities use this in many ways. So I hope that this is inspiring to you and that you see the opportunity for creative use and expression, as well as just this general overall design use. And the last thing I'll say about this is, if you are a movement enthusiast or specialist and you start looking at the shapes that the human body makes, you'll notice that there's lots of spaces that are triangular shaped, and this is where the triangle fits. It fits. So we'll go ahead and get started. I should issue a disclaimer here. Part of the purpose for this practice is to demonstrate utilization of the yoga triangle. However, in terms of the precise sequencing design, as well as the duration of time spent in the pose, I'm going to leave that very subtle, nuanced information to your instructors. What does that mean? It means that we won't be in the poses for the full preferred amount of time that would be traditional to the class or the experience or the teacher who's teaching. Restorative yoga is typically not a lot of poses, maybe 8 poses, done for an extended period of time to create rest, which we all need. So thank you for being here. We'll go ahead and get started. The first thing that we'll begin with today is a corpse pose variation. So you can find your way into your practice space, have your triangles handy. If you don't have triangles handy, you can use blankets, pillows, or other props, and recline. As you come down onto your back, you'll take the yoga triangles with the landmark balanced down, and you'll slide them under the small part of your back to help create a neutral lumbar spine. From there, the legs can extend out, and you're in a corpse pose variation that you can adjust by sliding the triangles further in or further out to help create more of a neutral lumbar curve. This is a beginner-friendly pose. This is good for low back pain and discomfort. This is good for spinal neutrality and postural correction. Once you find your way into the pose, turn the palms open, relax the shoulders, and take 3 to 5 deep breaths. After your 3 to 5 deep breaths, bend your knees, drawing your feet to the mat, and slowly slide the triangles out from underneath you. Moving directly into corpse pose, Variation 2. Slide the triangles down, same position, to just below your glutes and extend the legs out. Slide the triangles in to catch the fleshy part of your thighs, just barely lifting pressure off the glutes and helping rotate your thigh bones internally. Allow your hands to turn open, press the shoulders back into the mat, and take 2 or 3 intentional deep breaths here. Begin to bend your knees and bring your feet back onto the mat, removing the triangles. Placing the triangles on one side of you and rolling over onto your side. Prop yourself upright and bring your triangles balance face up, connecting the 2 right angles together, creating this ramp, coming into a supported side-lying shoulder stretch. The triangles will catch underneath the underarm here. Relax the head onto the arm. Do whatever is most comfortable for the legs. I like a fan position here. And once you find the position that works for you, 3 to 5, 2 to 3. We're doing 2 to 3. 2 to 3 breaths. If you're taking this as a class to seek a full restorative experience, watch it again. Pause the video. This is available on YouTube, although I am live streaming on my Facebook account right now, but go to YouTube, pause the video between the poses, take your time accessing proper prop placement. This is one of the frustrations that I think people may experience when they're trying to get into a pose, right? So find what fits you and then do the breath work. So 2 or 3 deep breaths here. The benefit of this variation is it can help open up the thoracic spine, the shoulders, and all of the tissue from here to here. So if you sit a lot, if you have pain in the shoulders, the neck, the upper back, this is a good variation to try. Gently press off the triangles and return to your reclining position. And I did write this sequence to be enjoyed as a restorative sequence. So you can definitely spend more time in these variations. They fit well together in terms of flow and opportunity for ease in the transitions. As you return onto your reclining position, bring the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to drop open, sliding your triangles to underneath your thighs or your knees, creating a very comfortable, gentle support for reclining butterfly pose. Turn the palms open and press the shoulders back into the mat. And once you find that you can release here, 2 or 3 slow deep breaths. might stay a little longer since I finally have my yoga assist. Let's take one more breath here. What do you see, a bird? Well, there's a bird out there. That's because there's birdseed. Use your hands to help draw the soles of your, to draw your knees together. If you experience any discomfort in this variation, also another really helpful verbal cue is to press the heels together to activate all of the external muscle tissue on the sides of your legs. Remove the triangles. And we're going to transition into the supported side-lying shoulder pose variation on the other side. So just so I can face you, I'm gonna spin myself. That was fun. And turn onto the side, real slow, real easy. Take your time. Balance face up, connecting the points and creating a ramp. And placing the ramp under the arm on your side. Again, comfort for your legs. Fan is a preference for me. Letting the head relax on the upper arm. Taking 2 or 3 deep breaths here. And then gently easing yourself up. As you come upright to seated, sliding the triangles. I lied, don't come upright to seated. Recline back onto your back again. Bring the triangles to either side of you. Lift the knees into the body and drop the knees to one side. And as the knees drop to one side, the triangle will slide under the small part of the back to help you stay in a spinal twist. The other triangle can come to underneath your knee or your thigh to help rotate the trunk of the spine and the shoulders back toward the floor. This helps create more of a rotation in the spine. And it also creates stability in the spinal twist. So one triangle comes underneath the thigh. The other triangle fits underneath the small part of the back. You'll see this both ways, so if you can't see it in its totality right now, this is not a new variation, but I think this is a challenging variation for people, so take your time with it. The rotation in the spine comes from placing the shoulders toward the mat. So take a moment to really rotate the upper body toward the floor and then anchor the shoulders. And take 2 or 3 deep breaths here. Easing out of this pose, slide the triangle out from underneath the knee or the thigh. Remove the other triangle from under the small part of the back. And let the knees draw back into the body. Draw the knees in and give yourself a squeeze, stretching the low back. You're welcome to add some gentle side to side rocking movement here. Very gentle. Again, restorative yoga. The name gives you the intention of the practice. Rest. Release your feet back to the mat. Find your triangles. Same thing on the other side. So you'll be able to see the rotation a little better on this side, hopefully. So knees to chest. Knees drop the other way. Triangle catches under thigh. Other triangle comes under small part of the back. Shoulders rotate toward the floor. Three breaths here. Remove the triangle from underneath the thigh. Slide the other triangle gently out from underneath the small part of your back. Roll over onto your side and press yourself up to seated. Once you're upright, extend the legs out in front of you. And bring the triangles balance face down, both triangles, to the triangle space behind your knees. Coming into supported forward fold, enjoy this as a restorative variation. Depending on what's going on in your hips and your low back, you might not be coming so far forward into this pose. You might be resting on your elbows. You might be coming down toward your shins. You might need to let the legs open a little so that your belly can soften between your legs. 2 or 3 slow deep breaths here. Gently press into your hands and walk yourself back upright. Press your heels down into the mat to lightly lift the knees and remove the triangles. Swing one leg open wider. Same thing here. Place the triangles underneath the triangle space behind your knees. And then rest forward. You can bring your elbows to the mat in front of you, or the cat in front of you. And then take 2 or 3 slow deep breaths here. And gently releasing. Once you walk yourself back upright, press your heels into the mat to lift the knees. Remove the triangles. Swing your legs back together. heart bench, moving into a variation that's a deep heart opener. Really great for a tight thoracic spine. All of the poses that we just went through that I didn't mention are excellent for low back and hamstrings. So those last, the spinal twist, butterfly, forward fold, wide-legged, and close together, all of those poses are great for low back and hamstrings. The heart bench is a deep heart opener, bringing your pair of triangles together. Lowering back down toward your elbows. I like to press the shoulders back into the triangles so that I can feel them. I know where they're at. And sometimes I get dizzy, so I will actually hold my head as I lean back into this variation. And then once you find the point that works for you, you can stay there. But you might need to move them further down or further up to get just right for your position. I like an inverted knees, ankles wide position to help my low back and my glutes relax. Some people will extend the legs. But for today, let the knees touch. Open the feet wide to the edges of the mat so that the knees are pressing together, kind of like the poles that you use in setting up a tent. Support the head on the way back. 2 or 3 slow, deep breaths here. Support the head on the way back up. Release the elbows, press back into your hands. Move the triangles. And lower back down. We're coming into the last 2 poses. Once you've lowered back down, we'll move into some psoas releases. So first, bring your triangles to in front of you so you can see them. And we want to have the word balance facing toward us, with the point facing away from us, point toward the feet. And you'll lift the glutes up and you'll click those 2 points together underneath you so that there's a diamond shape formed to support your glutes and your low back. This is the shape we're working with right here. This is a much more natural a position to support the bones of your SI joint than this. Just FYI. You can fact check me on that if you want, but look at the bones. You'll see it. And then lower yourself down. Psoas is a really tight hip muscle for a lot of us that can make some exceptional discomfort in the low back and the hips. So from here, with the glute dropping off the side but the bones being supported, you get a nice release over the top of the hip. You can start by fully extending one leg or the other, or both. Palms turn open. Shoulders press into the mat. 2 or 3 slow, deep breaths here. What is on your tail? What did you get into? Oh my God. And then from there, you can bend your knees, bring your feet back to the mat. Lift your glutes away from the triangles, slide the triangles out and lower down. And as we finish, we'll come into corpse pose version 3. How awesome is it that we have so many variations of corpse pose now? Absolutely one of my favorite things about the yoga triangles, because I love resting in corpse pose. So same position here, you're going to kick the triangles open, so you open your diamond. And you'll use the bevel, the long flat side of the triangle, and you'll pull them up to where your glutes get fleshy, where your butt has a curve. This is referred to as the gluteal flap. And you'll extend the legs out. And what you'll feel is immediately a release on the SI joint in the low back. Just enough to lift your glutes like 2 or 3 sheets of paper away from the floor. And you can turn the palms open, press the shoulders back into the mat, and take a Shavasana. 2 or 3 very slow, deep breaths to finish. Bend your knees and release your feet back to the mat. Remove the triangles. Roll over onto your side. And make your way up to seated. Okay, so again, this was a sequence designed for helping people understand how to use Yoga Triangle for restorative. And the sequence is going to be released in notes. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for being on this channel. If you'd like more information, you can go to theyogatriangle.com. or you can watch our videos on YouTube, and we will continue to share our enthusiasm of the Yoga Triangle with our community. Many of these poses and variations have been utilized and worked through lots of different movement enthusiasts and specialists, yoga teachers, massage therapists, physical trainers, personal trainers, chiropractors, roll method instructors, myofascial release instructors. The list goes on, as well as normal people. So tune back every Saturday from 9 to 10. We go over this information and we produce and share the content. I hope that you've enjoyed this.